From the very opening of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I knew the 4 years of wait had been worth it. Zelda and Link explore the depths of Hyrule Castle. There are strange reports of some kind of gloom making people sick, seemingly coming from below. As they explore further, they discover the ruins of an ancient civilization, the Zonai. Uncovering the story of a war fought long ago, the Imprisoning War, led by the Zonai and the Hylians against the Demon King and his army. All of which led, of course, to the imprisoning of the Demon King himself, who is freed because, I don't know, I guess this hand thing got tired or something. The shriveled up, long dormant Demon King reawakens, steals all their hearts and stamina from the last game, and Link's arm along with it, shattering the Master Sword to pieces.
Was that the sword that seals the darkness? The blade that shatters so easily against my power cannot save you from me.
He destroys the ground around him for some reason, raises the castle above him, and plunges into the depths below. As does Zelda, who quickly poofs into nothing, and Link is pulled to the heavens. What an opening, what a setup, setting up the Zonai, a somewhat hidden part of Breath of the Wild's lore, for a much more important role in the story here. The return of Ganondorf, seemingly held here so to prevent his inevitable reincarnation to terrorize the lands of Hyrule. I'm sorry to Breath of the Wild, but its story was definitely one of its weaker traits, but this cutscene alone is better than that game's entire plot. I'm so excited for what this game has to offer, so I hope you'll come with me. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom beats any video game in all of history for most anticipated video game ever. We weren't 100% sure Breath of the Wild would be a masterpiece, but with this game, we knew. If it was a sequel to Breath of the Wild, we knew, and so the wait was torture. Tears of the Kingdom was an incredibly elusive game, announced 4 years ago to be starting development in Nintendo's 2019 E3 presentation. Now E3's not even alive anymore. There was another sighting spotted in mid-2021 at that E3. I watched the 2 trailers in 2022 and in February 2023, but they barely showed anything, and I kinda liked that. People called it full price DLC, but I knew they were just hiding stuff because I'm simply smarter than everyone else. Recently, Nintendo dived into the game for promotional purposes, showing intricate gameplay and an incredibly cinematic trailer. From what I can tell, I didn't actually watch them. I'm going into this thing very blind. But this way I get to go in and experience all sorts of magical and horrifying surprises with all new crazy mechanics I can barely understand. This way I can report it all into you guys about my time with the game, what I've decided to do, where I am, what killed me, my thoughts and reviews of the story and bosses and all sorts of aspects of the gameplay. I'm going to go wherever my horrendous attention span takes me, or against whatever boss is way too strong for me that my stubborn ass won't give up on. I want to go through the whole game doing this, but the first day of this game is something incredibly special in its own right, going in blind with this being my first impressions. If you don't want spoilers, this is all early experience stuff and basically no main story progression after getting off the Great Sky Islands. And I'll also be sure to leave all my extra specific and explorative stuff for the end of the video in that chapter. Now, I didn't let myself get excited at all the way up until the release of this game, especially not 4 years ago, but it's so freeing to say that it's finally here. So, here we go. We reawaken in the Shrine of the Room of Awakening, where we gain the decayed Master Sword. Damn. I really hope we get it back. It was really nice having a reliable sword constantly. Maybe in Korok Forest or something? But jumping off these islands, getting that title sequence goosebumps moment, this was it. Time to sign my life away to this game. With the starting area, the Great Sky Islands, I love that we got some new terrain to explore and probably a bunch more beyond this. And it looks so pretty, the golden grass is amazing. I was concerned maybe it wouldn't be enough, but I think the skies should be fairly substantial if there are multiple landscapes like this set. And while diving down, I saw what are presumably like Zonai mazes in their big giant cubes. I don't know if they're the same as the ones previously on the ground, but the view of seeing all this crazy stuff in the distance was really cool. The first bit of the game feels like the equivalent of just being born again, naked, fragile, weak, stupid, but being up so high with such weird technology all around us feels alien at the same time. It felt different than Breath of the Wild. That opening felt a bit more comforting. This opening, combined with the opening cutscene, feels wild, exciting, and kinda terrifying. Making my way to this new other Temple of Time, I try to sneak up on these weird emu things and they ram me to the ground. And this is where we officially meet Raru, the donor of the slick new arm Link is rocking, having been told of Link by Zelda somehow, wherever she is. He himself is a Zonai, and he sets us off towards the new shrines, which have a really cool new design, and will now populate the world instead of the classic Sheikah shrines, which are all just now gone, along with all the original towers as well. Now this shrine introduces us to the Ultra Hand ability, which I, quite frankly, think is awesome, letting us stick anything together. I, being me, decided that means I'm going to build this shit in the first shrine and hook myself up here, out of pure curiosity. There was nothing there. I hope you all know that with this ability, I'm a complete and utter moron and love building things in the stupidest way possible and poking at whatever I can with these tools. Sometimes it's shown good results, but a lot of the time it kinda goes horribly. But after spending 20 minutes in that first shrine, I took my sweet time getting to the next two, just running into this open playground. And what a good time as any to mention that this is a really nice tutorial. I was actually pretty sad to leave when everything had been explored. It provided so many use cases for all my new abilities, which are all a joy to use. Fusing weapons is basically necessary now, which provides a lot more fun to the weapon system from the first game with how everything can still break. The general idea seems to be that enemy drops will provide materials to enhance weapons, but you can also enhance shields, make tools with certain material and weapon combinations, and even just do dumb shit like putting a sword on a shield for some reason. You can even put a minecart on a shield to make what's basically a skateboard while shield surfing. I do think it's dumb that your thing that got fused onto another thing is lost if you decide to unfuse it though. Early on we're also given an energy cell which can be powered up through extremely complicated means of gaining enough Zonite to buy 100 crystallized charges, or you can just find crystallized charges and then talking to a specific guy who will then upgrade your energy cell. The power in the energy cell is important to run Zonai devices, these technological components you can add to your creations to do things, like this raft. Or this minecart. Or even this here glider. Continuing on through, there are also these machines that can dispense out portable Zonai devices, which can be very helpful except for the cooking pots. Those are useless because they're a one-time use. And no, I don't mean one-time use as in you can put it down but can't bring it with you. No, you can cook one thing. But I cannot overstate this ability to combine things, especially the Zonai tech, is the coolest. You can build so much dumb and amazing stuff, and I'm constantly finding new Zonai tech, seemingly endless new things scattered across the lands that I can add to my machines. Anyway, I brute forced my way through this section with 4 minecarts attached for literally no reason, and then made my way up this hill with probably the dumbest creation you've ever seen. I wanted to make a little carriage to hold you instead of doing it the boring, normal way. I barely made it across. Moving forward, we get 2 new abilities, the ability to ascend and to reverse time on certain objects. Holy crap, the abilities in this game are next level in comparison to its predecessor. They all work together so well for all the new shrines in this game, leading to such creative solutions to solve problems, thingamajigs to build, and cheese so many puzzles, and such violent ways to kill enemies. Throwing a rock back in their face, building a flame-throwing, laser-shooting, enemy-homing little tank man, or just running over guys with cars. I love building cars. And the game and its shrines lets you do all of it. I don't know how they've come up with all these cool new shrine ideas, but the building of things just grants so much potential. I could have carried a rock around this set of islands to the shrine, but screw that, I built an aeroplane with basically no runway that ate shit like 3 times and sent me plummeting to the ground, and then it worked. It also ate power like a bitch. Now, I don't like looking to the internet for answers in games, that's what little stupid babies do. I'll have to be locked away for a week without food and water before I Google something. But the amazing thing with this game is that you can cheese it so badly. Have you been looking at this footage here? Does this look even remotely correct to you? So on escaping the Great Sky Islands, the Master Sword vanishes and seems to recall itself somehow, starting to imply that maybe Zelda is displaced through time, rocking a whole new outfit, with voice acting, a huge world, the return of Ganondorf, and exploration of the ancient Zonai tribe. I'm scared for how good this story will be, how expansive, detailed, intriguing, and intense the story will be, but I'm so ready as well. Jumping down to the familiar world we know, we head to Lookout Landing, and meet up with Pura and Robbie from the last game, running the search parties to look for the missing Link and Zelda. To get there, I of course rocked my sweet new ride into town. I couldn't steer it sucked. Heading to the castle, Zelda briefly appears and disappears. What the hell is going on? We then head back to get a paraglider and are launched into the sky by the new tower systems. It allows you to shoot off to nearby sky archipelagos too, spot nearby islands, or dive and glide back to the ground to traverse nearby land. But as soon as I got the glider, I started wandering off to kinda do whatever. I wanted to see the new things Hyrule had to offer first before doing the main story and level up some of my gear as well. And that's when I come across this hole, by complete surprise, and this is probably the coolest and most mind-blowing way I could have come across this hole. No knowledge of what it was, nothing in trailers, not talking to Robbie to activate the quest to go down there first. I came across it, and out of pure morbid curiosity, decided to dive straight in. Passing through the disgusting Gloom and Malice tunnel deep underground, I thought, this is a weird cave, and landing in pitch black. I didn't expect much, but the little music cue and the text on screen that simply announced the depths. Holy crap. I didn't believe it at first. I tried lighting up the place, remembering I can attach bright bloom seeds to arrows, so I shot one down and see trees and rocks around me. I went over to this glowy tree thing and it lights up the whole place. I checked the map and it's another whole level of the map, separate to the sky and surface. This place is huge and amazing and crazy, and I can't believe they've built a whole other map down here. So far there isn't much here in the way of progressing the main story, so I'm not sure what's going to motivate me to look around here. I hope there's stuff later, and there probably will be, what with Ganon disappearing down here, but it kinda just seems like a land of treasure. I've obtained old maps to track down stuff down here, and there's plenty of cool loot, but no main story incentive to be down here just yet. Before I go into more specifics on the game, be careful if you don't want to hear about something you might not have come across. You can just skip to the last chapter of the video to get my final thoughts if you want. Now the rest of the surface Hyrule we knew is at first glance fairly similar to Breath of the Wild, but there are new cave systems scattered around, all new shrines to find, new bosses everywhere in places you wouldn't expect. I was just minding my own business on the Great Plateau, and then all of a sudden, this goop starts seeping out of the grass. I think, what is that? It's kind of creepy. Let's beat it up and get ready for a fight. Oh my god, what the f is this? Even the regular enemies one-shot me now. I definitely feel like there are just some tough guys out there, and a lot of them especially guarding this one tower, except for this guy. There's so much cool stuff in the world to do that I feel like I get distracted every 2 seconds. Like the Great Plateau being taken over by the Yiga clan, this is especially with the introduction of side adventures. Side quests that offer better rewards for a long task, like the one on the Great Plateau with the Temple of Time ruins. Now I don't like looking to the internet for answers in game. Okay, so you drain the plateau, bring these eyeballs through the mines of the underground, each with their own area where you craft some vehicle to transport them, which went well every single time, and then you bring them to this statue who can trade you stuff. But while up here, I stumbled across the final ability I needed, the auto build feature, which is a pretty damn cool ability. But freaking Master Koga shows up out of nowhere and activates another side adventure, with him triggering a boss fight too. It's crazy that he actually lived, but it makes so much sense with the hole he fell down looking exactly like any other hole to the depths in this game. If there are lots of cool side quests, enemies and landscapes down here, the depths can absolutely meet its potential as what's basically another Hyrule down here, but much scarier. I spent 10 hours on this game on day one, and I just want to play more. It's so stupidly good, it's impossible to put into words. This game is going to consume my life, but I hope you'll join me next time for more of my thoughts later on as I progress through to the end, and I have no idea how long that will be. Could be a few months away, could be next month, maybe next week, or even tomorrow. I'm gonna go build more cars and flying machines now.